Let's talk about the metric system and why it can be so handy and easy to make conversions from one unit to another. In the scientific community, the metric system is accepted. However, in the United States, we still use the imperial system quite a bit. However, scientists are trained as you're going up through high school and college and so forth. Whenever you make measurements, they are typically in the metric system. And I like this picture because it's a comparison between the imperial system versus the rest of the world and how easy the metric system really is once you get to know about it, and how kind of backwards the imperial system can be, and how you have to learn a lot of different conversion factors that don't always really make a lot of sense. You know, back in the 70s, when President Carter was in office, there was a time when we tried to move the United States towards the metric system. And then it came down to, you know, a gas shortage, and people thought that they were getting ripped off and trying to basically charge more for gas, and it all just kind of imploded. So it never really caught on in the United States. But like I said, around the rest of the world, we use the metric system, and the metric system's foundation are the base units. The base units used for measurement are for length, we've got meters, mass, grams, volume is liters, and for time, of course, we use seconds. Those are the base units in the metric system. Now, to go from one unit to another, we simply add different prefixes. And the beauty of the metric system is that it's based on powers of 10. So to go from one unit to another, you are basically either multiplying or dividing by 10. So to remember those metric prefixes, maybe you've heard this before, there's a little mnemonic device that can help you remember this. King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk. That is a little unusual, but I have felt that way after drinking a bunch of chocolate milk. But those are the different metric prefixes. The first letter represents each one. Kilo being the larger one, and then M for milli over on the right-hand side being the smaller. Of course, there are metric prefixes that go much larger and smaller than this. You've probably heard of giga or mega on the larger end, or maybe you've even heard of micro or pico on the smaller end of the metric prefixes. But these are pretty common. These are the 6 that I would expect you to know. I guess 7 if you include the base unit. But these are the ones that I would expect you to know and be able to convert from one metric unit to another. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, this is a super helpful slide for you. Check out this slide as well. I think this is another really helpful picture. Whenever you notice, the base unit is right there in the middle. So you're either going to a unit that is smaller, meaning you would be moving your decimal point to the right, or if you're going to a larger unit or going up the stairs, you would be moving your decimal point to the left. So keep that in mind here in just a few minutes when we use this picture to make some conversions. When you make a metric conversion, look at the unit that you're starting with and put your finger there. And then look at what you're converting to. So put your finger on your screen. So we're starting with kilometers, and we want to convert to meters. And I'm going to count how many times I have to jump to get to meters. So if I start at kilo, I jump 1 to hecto, 2 to deca, and then 3 to my base unit, which is meters. So that means I would have to move my decimal point 3 places to the right in order to get the correct conversion. So 2.3, after I move my decimal once, there aren't any more numbers to move my decimal point past, so you add zeros. I move my decimal point once past the 3, so then I have to add 2 zeros, making that equal to 2,300 meters. Okay, I've got 3 more practice problems for you here. Starting with 4 millimeters, I'm going to find where milli is, and I want to convert that to centimeters. So that means I'm going to go from milli to centi, that's 1, jump to the left. So I move my decimal point, and again, my decimal point is understood to be at the end of the number, so that's really 4.0. So I would move my decimal point 1 place to the left, and I get 0.4 centimeters for my answer. Next one, I have 0.02 kilometers, and I want to go to my base unit meters. So start at kilo, and I go 1, 2, 3 places to the right to get my base unit. So after I move 2 places, I'm out of numbers, I've got to add a 0. So I end up with 20 meters as my correct conversion. And then finally, I've got 3,210 milliliters. So I'm going to start at milli, and I'm going to move my decimal point 1, 2, 3 places to the left in order to get to my base unit. So again, your decimal point, since it's not actually there, it's understood to be at the very end of the number. So I'm going to move it past the 0, past the 1, past the 2, and I end up with 3.210 liters as my answer. Take a look at the extra practice that I have attached to this video as well. Do as many or as little as you need until you feel comfortable making metric conversions.